it's Rashida Geddes, your coach and mentor, and welcome to Business Talks, the place to find tips and insight on creating a business career and life in Montreal on your own terms. If you asked me before what starting a business had to do with creating a movement, I wouldn't have been able to answer you. You see, I simply didn't know then how powerful a movement could be to my brand and business. If you look at Justin Trudeau's campaign of real change, or the One Day Without Shoes campaign launched by Tom Shoes, or even still, the Live Your Best Life mantra of Oprah, you'll see a common thread. Their decision to stand for a cause was good for business. Digital technology has changed the way we consume and engage with our favorite brands. We not only expect companies to offer a product or service, we want them to be good people with our best interest at heart. If you want to attract your dream clients, you need to be clear on what your business stands for. Starting a movement requires careful consideration, but when done right, can catapult your business and brand success. And that is exactly what 4 Brown Girls is creating with their company launched here in Montreal and their campaign, Dear Brown Girls. Take a look. Creating a network that supports and empowers, 4 Brown Girls is helping to build bridges within their community and showing the value in bilingualism, inclusion, and sisterhood. From their signature Brown Beauties brunching events that bring together women of all shades, to their union of commerce, art, and conversation at the annual Blaxpo exhibition, Nicole Antoine is shining a light and voice on our magic as a community of ambitious Black women. Welcome to the show, Nicole. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I have a personal affinity and love for Brown Girls. What was the inspiration behind starting this movement?
Loaded question. However, the inspiration behind it was really just getting women together and networking. We were all at different points of our lives, the women that started the organization. We were all at different points and we just wanted a little bit more direction, but we didn't know where to go. So since we didn't really have anything in Montreal that we could kind of latch onto and kind of find other like-minded women, we decided to just put together a brunch. And we put together this brunch in like 2-3 weeks. We put up our personal finances and we said this is going to be our donation to the community. And we did that. We got amazing feedback. We sold out instantly. Yeah. And we just kind of took it from there, and it's been a crazy roller coaster ever since.
Yeah. I know I loved that first brunch because, as you mentioned, it wasn't something that you saw already in Montreal. What do you think was missing from Montreal that so many women came out like in droves to actually be at the event?
I think it's a combination of 2 things. The first thing would be the fact that we kind of stress that we wanted value-based events. In our community, sometimes we kind of lag in that sense. We don't put the emphasis on value, not to say that it doesn't exist, just that it's not promoted in that fresh, like millennial way. So we had that interest in takes. And the second part would be the fact that we wanted to stress bilingualism. So our panel was not completely bilingual, but we had hosts that were bilingual, and also we kind of catered to French and Anglophones, because in Montreal, it's kind of a specific demographic. We have the Francophone Blacks in Montreal, and then we have the Anglophone Blacks in Montreal, and they kind of don't diverge much. So it was an interesting just scene altogether, just to have them all there.
Yeah, and I know that, starting a movement like 4 Brown Girls and really getting, 4 different women together, really creating something can be challenging. What were the shifts that you guys had to make in terms of your mindset in order for you to be able to see this vision out?
Just to correct you, we didn't start the movement. We're kind of, the movement was started way before us. So I like telling people that we didn't start the movement. We're just kind of latching on to this movement and kind of going with the current events and also of just today's realities and not sweeping them under the rug, per se. But to get back to your question, I think when you start any business, especially when you have partners, it's a lot of compromise. So we all had the same type of passion and drive. It's just that our ideas sometimes weren't always I guess, the same, right? Yes. With anything, yeah. In a business relationship, in a romantic relationship, it's really about compromise. So I think that was one of the main challenges we had, was just trying to see how we can get everyone heard and being able to execute at that same level that our initial vision had. But that's the only thing that I would say that was kind of difficult for us, is that, and just really understanding the market and understanding what our fans, our new fans, and also society wanted out of this this organization that we started.
And what did you guys really want out of it? What was your main kind of guiding light that you latched onto every time that maybe you lost a little bit of focus? You said, you know what, let's go back to this. This was our main guiding light. What was that? What was that for you guys?
Well, the initial one was just more selfish, right? We were looking to network. We were looking to connect with other Black women. We were looking to kind of just have those conversations and see, like, are you going through the same thing as I'm doing? Am I doing this right? Should I put my hair up? Should I put my hair down? Just simple everyday things, balancing. So that's what we kind of always went back to, and kind of when we kind of was like losing direction, just remember the essence of why we were doing this. And then after our first event, we just went back to the actual feeling, the chills that we got, the people in the audience, the eyes, the oohs, the claps, the amens, you know? So all of that kind of brings everything into perspective.
And you're probably catching on to my next question. What was Montreal's reaction to this type of event? This event, I think for me, it's really one of the first of its kind. It really is it was really a unique space that you guys are carving out, even if the movement of, you know, brown women coming together and really, you know, talking about relevant things are already there. I think you guys added your own individual twist based on who we are and where we are in the world. So what was Montreal's reaction to it? What were the ladies saying about the events?
They were loving it. I guess it caught us really off guard. We knew we kind of planned out for 50 people. We sold out 150.
Wow.
So we kept on having to like double and then add a little person here, and then we said, okay, we have to stop. But they were really excited. The fact that they were being kind of signaled. They were saying, hey, like, we see you, we hear you, this is for you. And we're pulling out all the bells and whistles to make sure that this conversation is in a space that kind of brings up to your worth.
That's beautiful. And I know that For Brown Girls, for me, it's growing even more so. And it's growing more out of the movement space and more into a business. And for you guys, how has that transition been, moving from a movement to a business?
To say it in simplest term, it's been a growing experience. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about my partner. I've learned so much about the movement. I've learned so much about the resilience of the community that we're actually trying to serve. So to bring back even to your other question, when you were saying like, what keeps you going and motivated it's just this ever-changing like passion that we have, and it just changes every time we meet someone new, and then we network and we continue like branding and our marketing, and it's a lot. It's a lot to balance, but if we stay true to the essence as to why we're doing it, it ends up becoming effortless, right? It ends up being something that you just want to do every day. And how do I make this my 9 to 5 now? Like, now that people are interested, how can we transition and make this a 9 to 5? What do we need to do to be ready for those 20,000 followers, you know, overnight, you know? So that's really where we're at, because we're only like a year old. So it's just really preparing for that next phase.
And what would you think is your biggest challenge right now in that space, in that evolution, in that growing? What would be one of the biggest challenges that you guys have right now?
I think humility. I think it's really important to be humble in the sense that, okay, you have some sold out events, but in the grand scheme of things, you're still nobody. So you have to continuously remind yourself that there's a lot more that you need to tackle in order to get to the level where you want to get. And just remembering that you have to work really, really hard, and you have to run really, really fast, and you have to listen. You really, really, really have to listen.
I love the fact that you talk about humble, because it's true. The organization and the business is it's a year old, right? And you guys have gotten so much success, gotten so much interest, and so many women saying, what's next? You know, what can we do next? And I know that most recently you launched this Dear Brown Girl campaign. Explain to me a little bit about that campaign. What was the thought process behind it, and what do you hope to achieve with it?
I think the first part of it, it was just kind of how do we make ourselves unique? There's other organizations like you. You didn't make up the movement. You didn't start anything that hasn't been already started. So how do you make yourself unique besides just guaranteeing value-based events, so forth. So the Dear Brown Girl came just randomly as we've been like tweaking our social media strategy. And one day I just said, Dear Brown Girl. It was kind of, to me, the first Dear Brown Girl, and I just needed a little hope to get through to the next step or to get through an obstacle, and I wrote it to myself, and the reactions and the likes and the impressions kind of skyrocketed, and I said, maybe we're onto something. So then we just kind of brainstormed and spoke to other women and see like, what are things that they need to hear to get through to that next day? What are things that we're facing based on our previous brunches? And we just kind of compiled that into Dear Brown Girl content. And to add to that, now we're adding a new line, a collaboration that we're doing with this woman that kind of came over from Africa, and she sews, and she's amazing, and she actually made this jacket that I'm wearing today, and these are going to be our Dear Brown Girl collection, where we're going to have an inspirational quote on the inside. So it's just a little something to just remind you that you're not alone and that we're a sisterhood, and we can get through this together.
I love that, because it's so true. Sometimes you think to yourself, you might be going through this one thing alone, and then you realize in bringing it to the public and bringing it to other people that there's so many other people that can relate to that. And I think that's what drives a movement. It's the ability for people to connect and to align with the message, to align with the mission, and really feel inspired that you're talking to them, that you're speaking to that brown girl who has those insecurities, that has those doubts about however, whether it's her career, whether it's her business or her life, and saying, you know what, you're gonna be fine. You're actually gonna be even great. And it's just for you to really believe that, and for you to continue to walk in your purpose and walk in your, in the direction that you feel is best suited for you and your audience. How is that going to impact, do you think, in Montreal? How are people going to be impacted by this Dear Brown Girls campaign?
I think the overall strategy behind it and the results that we've been getting have been twofold. We're kind of positioning ourselves now to be a Canadian brand, so that we can kind of go up against, let's say, American brands that want to come in and say, well, you guys don't know anything. This is our reality. Here you go. Where our landscapes are very different. Yes, we have some similar issues. However, just our day-to-day, just everything, their politics, our politics, completely different, right? So it's just having someone that's homebred kind of be the one to kind of, I guess, navigate through everything that's going on right now, and through our identity, through just needing support, and just speaking on, like I said, that resilience of Black females.
And, I think what's really important about what you're saying about, differentiating yourself from the Canadian market, from the U.S. market, is the fact that we do have a different lived experience here in Canada, and even more so here in Quebec, with a bilingualism, with women coming from different aspects of, the French or English diaspora. So there's so many different elements that in the U.S. that they have a completely different, view towards. And I think being able to align yourself with the Canadian market and distinctively say that you are, expressing the views and the interests and the business objectives and goals of Canadian women will really put you on the map as someone having something unique to offer that's different from everybody else.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to do. Yeah. So eloquently put.
Oh, thank you. So For Brown Girls has a lot of things coming up. I know, what are some of the things that you guys are proud of, the things that you guys are, thinking of doing in 2017 that you'd love to share with us?
Well, we are going to expand from our brunches. We are going to take it on tour. We've had some different cities that come up to us and ask us, hey, can you come up? We have a similar reality. One being specific is Paris. They've asked us to come, and we're thinking of going in 2017. We're also thinking of a way to kind of keep because we have that brunch, right? And after you get all motivated about the brunch, and then after you leave, and then there's nothing, like there's no checks, there's no balances. Like how can I be accountable for the things that I just heard, or how do I put that into action? Yes. So now we're just trying to come up with great partnerships and kind of figure out how can we kind of own that in and create type of like a network where they can kind of chime in and we can have a specialist that's going to tell them, you know, and help them navigate through whatever they're going through on their daily lives, whether it's a relationship issue, whether it's a personal goal that they want to achieve, and help them be accountable. So there's going to be a lot of interesting programs and projects centered throughout that, and we're going to have someone on board that's going to help us advance that. So definitely on our website, stay tuned. There's going to be a program that we're definitely releasing in 2017, whereby women could just have that extra sisterhood at the tip of their fingers.
Great. And I think that's so important to be able to expand it in a way that holds women accountable. Because it's great when you're inspired and you're motivated at these events, but then you go home to your reality and you don't have maybe the business strategies or the system or tools to really take that even further, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your personal life or your business. So being able to have an organization, a group of women, a business that's supporting you along your journey, that gives you the tools, the tips, the insights to be able to effectively reach your goals, I think is super important, and it's really going to advance not only the cause, but also women here in Montreal.
Exactly.
Now, where can women go to find out about 4 Brown Girls, to be one of the Brown Beauties, to enjoy some of the events? Where can they go to figure that out?
Well, they can go directly on our website, www.4browngirls.com. Through there, they can see everything that's going on. They can sign up to our newsletter to get recent deets of what we're up to. Also, our social media is on point. We post quite often, and you can definitely see where we're going to. That's at 4.brown.girls. So you can definitely see where we're going next, and like we try to feel the pulse of the community through messages underneath our posts and so forth, and shifting and rebranding and repurposing all of that on a daily basis. So any feedback that anyone has, or an event that they want us to be at, or they just need our support, definitely just send us an email, info@4browngirls.com, or directly through our website, and we can make it happen.
I love it. I love it. There's so many great things to come with 4 Brown Girls. Our audience definitely needs to keep up track and get on that website.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for being with us today.
I really appreciate it.
And have a great day.
Thank you for thinking of me.
My interview with Nicole today left me with 2 takeaways. First, you have to make sure that the values you express align with your dream clients. There's nothing worse than creating a movement that no one can identify with. And second, build a movement that has the freedom and possibility to become a business. Some movements can be challenging when trying to add the business piece in. Remember to ask yourself if it's scalable before you invest the time, money, and effort into your passion. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I want to thank Nicole for stopping by and sharing her journey with us. Are you ready to create a business, career, and life on your own terms? Are you looking to leverage your strengths so that you can transform your life? Visit RashidaGeddes.com to learn more about how I can help you and your business. Empower, mentor, lead, and never stop learning. Bye for now.